Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're going to look at Ntes, Tsla, CMG, IBB, Twilio, and Gopro. Let's get right into the charts. We follow the daily, weekly, monthly time frame. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So let's look at Ntes. So let's see, do we have any technicals back here? No. So here was your area of resistance right here, 240.44. That was the top of the topping tail that was made last week. Then it had an epic retrace. We shorted this intraday, came right back in. They retraced it again. They retraced it again. You have to short this one. If it closes around, we could go the all-time high, 243.15. You short it here, gets above there with confirmation, you stop out. Or maybe use 250, so use the right share size for this. When this thing is going up on no volume the last couple days, this is option X game playing, guys. This is someone who bet a put and they're just sticking it to them, or I don't know what else. Or they went short, they're just sticking it to them. The next thing you know, this thing's going to come crashing down. Weekly chart, same thing. Weekly, strong candle, did have some volume, but on the weekly basis, I want this thing to close above 243.15 next week. Then I think it could possibly go up into the 250 even number area. If you aren't short here and it gets to 250, you definitely short up there, period. Monthly chart, again, we talked about extended plays. This is getting extended from the 20 MA. If this does not get above this area on the weekly chart or get to 250, you want to go short because eventually this one will be coming in to kiss mom again, which is the 20 MA on the monthly chart. Once these get too far stretched, it will be coming down. Believe me, it's just a matter of time. Everything right now, guys, a market trade. Stocks go up when the SPY and everything else goes up, and if the SPY and everything or the IWM and the Qs go down, everything will be going down as well. So you got to correlate these trades with the market, meaning the SPY, the IWM, and the Qs, and the Dow if you want to look at the Dow. Let's look at Tsla. Tsla, what a bounce. I haven't been around for the last couple days. I've looked through charts a little bit. I had my laptop, but it's a little bit tough to look on a laptop when you have 6 monitors, 27s, and you're looking at all this stuff all day long. But again, I'm going by the seat of my pants when I'm looking here. You're below the MA, still in a weak stance. They're trying to get it above here. Options X last week. So there might have been a lot of options that needed to, this thing needed to close above 205 to really stick everybody. But again, when we broke down here, we're coming back up, and we're right back into that breakdown area. There's going to be some sellers into this, in this 206 price area. If we do get above the 20 MA and starts ripping up, watch out for this trend line that it was support at one point, but now it's resistance. So there's going to be a huge resistance up in this area if Tsla can go up. Maybe some news, maybe Elon tweeting or something, some new big project he's working on, some crap like that. But ultimately, we have down, down, and sideways action, and now we're just kind of chopping around. Let's see if we can get above this green line, 206.34, and we'll take it from there. But this is a bearish stance right now. Weekly, same thing. We have this big breakdown bar, went an inside bar, but this on a weekly basis, closing down here below this red bar, that's not good. So now we're retracing. Let me see. Let me look here. So if this thing retraces, let's take a low from here. Oops, let's take the low, high from here, low from here. So right now we're in the 250 this. So let's see if we can get into the 50 or price at right around 215.06. This is going to be the big area. Then of course this breakdown bar in the 618 right around 220. If we get back to 220, you could possibly take a short on this one, and then we'll wait for confirmation. Do a half position. If it gets up here, short again. But yeah, right now we're just retracing. They're getting everyone on board. Let's see what happens next week. Monthly chart still, they're almost above this area again. We got 2 more weeks to see where this thing closes, but technically still in a weak stance. Let's see if we can recapture these the MAs and then go from there. That's Tsla. Let's look at CMG. CMG, wow, just hammered, just completely hammered. Ackman straight down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, but we are into support right here. We did fill this gap, still continued down. We are below the MAs on a daily chart basis. It needs to get above these MAs, but we did fill this gap down in here, but it continued lower, but we're right back into the 618. Let's see if we can hop and start going up. Let's see, is that the 618? Yeah, the 618 right here. So yeah, so there's good support here. Let's see if we can confirm below this, or does it try to recapture the MAs here and try to go up into this area with the Ackman news, or maybe they throw up, maybe Ackman tweets or something next week on CMG. But this was awesome. We did write some calls up here the day of when Ackman announced, and my gosh, they worked out beautifully on Monday. Probably cover these if I just didn't cover them on Friday because I really wasn't around. So, and I'm letting these things play out. These options faded beautifully. We wrote calls on this one. So, and I think that was the right move for this trade. I mean, up on there, they blew up on here, and then boom, right back down. Weekly chart. Weekly chart was still in a bearish setup down in here. We did close below the 20 MA on the weekly chart. So that's very important to recapture that 20 MA next week and possibly to continue higher. If it does not, then we're going to wait for pattern here and see if we can go lower on this one. But again, here's some big support down in this area. If this thing starts to break down, it's going to get really ugly really fast. You have to line it up with the SPY. If the SPY continues to sell or it moves down, then this is really going to start going. But even on the bigger time frame, on the monthly, look at this. I mean, we're down, and now we're going sideways. And then even we went down again here, and we're sideways again. So we're a bearish and inside another bearish pattern. So two bearish patterns on this one, holding on to this good support down in this area. The markets need to go up for this thing to continue, or need some news or some crap like that. That's the only thing. It's like Apple. The only reason it went up because of news. The IBB, same thing. Options X, guys, a real shark week. Everybody loaded the house on the shorts, and look what they did. They destroyed them. So right now we're back up into the retrace 618. We're shooting for the 750, which is right around 193.65 or 66. If the markets catch a bid next week, this should help the matter and go up into this area. If it starts to go into this 240 area, if you're not short, start adding it. If it goes up into the 299, you can add more. If it gets above there and confirms, you stop out. Very simple short. But if you're battling this thing on the long side, you still have a lot of overhead resistance coming up here. And I think the only reason this went up was options X. Sorry. But we're back into the retrace. Let's see where this thing closes on Monday. It will give us a little more pieces of the puzzle. This, though, on the weekly, nice pullback. Let's see where we retraced. Oops. Take that out. Let's see where we retraced. So let's pull a fib on here. Go down to there. So look at that. Retrace right into the 382. That's a big area, and the 618 is a big area too. So we retraced right into that, and then boom, powered it up, got it above the 50 MA, and closed. Next week, I want to see it close above this candle and close above the 300 area. If not, my opinion, I still believe it's weak. It's going up on no volume here. This one came back in, actually no volume here. We had a lot of volume to punch it through the 50 MA and try to re-attack this 300 area. Never made it, came back below. Now we're above. I want to see if we confirm above the 50, or do we just reverse and come right back down. Next week is going to be pivotal for a lot of these stocks, in my opinion. But right now, we're a little bit bullish, so let's see if we get some follow-through on some volume. Monthly chart, again, big inside bar. This is what's making me bearish. Man, this was down, sideways, ball, down, sideways, and this is even more epic. I'm thinking once this thing gets going, boys and girls, I don't know how far it can go. But it's all based on a market too. If the markets don't break down, this is going to be hard. But eventually, this thing's telling me that we have lower prices to come here, regardless. Unless this thing comes and closes above 331 and breaks this inside bar pattern, that's just an epic down sideways. And we even closed below this inside bar here. That's even more bearish. And then 7-8 months of consolidation sideways. Wow. You can ask for a better pattern. I mean, just like this one, I was telling everyone to short this thing right in here. Look at that. Boom. It took a little while. It took a couple months. But if this thing consolidating for 8 months, holy cow. Lights out, guys. Lights out. Twlo. Twilio. I wish we would have covered that one. Like I said, we weren't really around on Thursday, Friday. But we got the bounce. We came to the 750 retrace. Got the bounce. They got it above the 25 or the 20 moving average on the daily. Now we're shooting for this trend line. Let's see what happens once it gets back into the $58 area, or does it just reverse with the markets and go right down? But we came into the 382 again. Let's see how this thing reacts. On the weekly basis, not too much here, just down, sideways, chopping. I still think we have a little more room to come maybe to the $50 level, but we'll see on the daily how it sets up for pattern. Monthly chart, we're into the 750 retrace. on the monthly. If you're bullish, you need to close above this blue line. If you're bearish, you need to close below the 55 area or the blue line. And then it's more on the bearish side. But again, new issue, not a lot. We had the bearish pattern, kind of fell into this area here. We filled the gap the other day, almost to this pivot. And this, I would have loved if this thing hit here, then I would have got the alert to dump. But came right back up and pushed up. Let's see what happens next week. Next one is Gopro. We talked about this one coming into the trend line. Bam, look at that. Right in this area, you had a lot of support. And I think on Monday they got the Hero 5. I read a little bit on StockTwits. Some people were saying that the Hero 5 is coming out. That's the only thing that's going to save this is news. I mean, look at this. Came right into my area, right into this bottom trend line. Held it, never confirmed below, got below, popped it above, and then boom, boom. So it's on its way. The next test, again, you got to get above 1626. The only way it's going to do it on news. Then ultimately you have this big pivot right around the $20. That will be the huge test. If it gets up into this area and you were in it since, you know, $12.50, $12, $13, man, the $20 up to 20, you got to get the hell out of there. People are going to start selling right here because this is where consolidating, then when it broke down. A lot of the bag holders right in this area are going to become sellers. If this thing pushes up through the 1626 area, you definitely have to sell into this area. And or protect it. Just protect it with a trailing stop. If it gets above the 2040 when it confirms and it possibly higher. But man, I mean, that trend line held. All these moving averages we talked about. Go back in my videos. We talked about this area holding, and it did. Now they're the news and the Hero. Look at that. I mean, they made it fall into perfect timing. Right before it comes in, we got the news coming up. You think institutional money was making this thing go down, squeezing out all the longs, making them sell, making them panic, and then boom, we go right into great support, and then the news comes in and right back up. And then you know people are chasing this one. It's pretty sad. But again, look at this. 50 MA. Did we close? Let's see. 1481. Ooh, we did close above it, like I've been talking about, until we get above this 50 MA and close. All right, so next Friday, I want to see it close above the 50 MA, and I want to see it close above the 1638. Then I'm bullish on this one. I think we could possibly pop into the 20, and that's going to be based on the news. That's it. If it turns around for whatever reason, it starts coming down, we close below this red candle and this green candle, and we get below the 20 MA, which is roughly at 1192, then look out. $10 here we come, and then possibly lower. So the news can maybe drive it up, or the news might actually, it might be this buy the rumor, sell the news. You know, you still have an inside bar, bearish pattern. This tells me lower prices until we get above this high right here, 2054, and we're just going to be chopping around in this area. If it does get above that, we have a great chance of it coming back to the 20 MA, which is 2767. It gets there. You need to cover half or protect or sell half and protect it, then possibly maybe a little bit higher. All right, guys, that's it for today. It's Saturday. I want to go back, go have some fun with my family. I'm going to do a little shooting some golf balls and just having some fun. I'm in Arizona. The weather's getting nice, and love this place. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching my videos. If you have any questions or comments, send it to me at stockbookie@gmail.com. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. God bless. See you Monday on the charts.